Hello everyone, this is Shomajit there. Today we are going to solve the questions of ISIM Math 2019 topic based on linear algebra. Okay, the first question says that if M be a symmetric matrix with real entries such that m to the power k equal to 0 for some k belongs to natural number, then we have to show that m equal to 0. That is, if m is a real nilpotent matrix, real nilpotent symmetric matrix, then we have to show that m equal to 0. That is, there exists only one real nilpotent symmetric matrix and the matrix is 0 matrix, right? So the question says m is a real symmetric matrix such that m to the power k equal to 0. Now let's start the solution. Okay, so given that m is a real symmetric matrix, now what we know about the symmetric matrix? We know that a matrix is real symmetric if and only if it is orthogonally diagonalizable, right? So m is diagonalizable, right? Liable. So we can say that as m is a real symmetric matrix, then m is diagonalizable, right? So there exists a non-singular matrix. There exists a non-singular matrix P and a diagonal matrix D such that P inverse is equal to D, right? So as M is diagonalizable, so there exists a non-singular matrix P and a diagonal matrix D such that P inverse equal to D. Now, what is P inverse square? You can write this as D square, right? P inverse square equal to P inverse equal to P inverse. So we can write the D into D, that is D square. Now, P inverse, we can write this P inverse into P inverse equal to D square, right? So we actually can write it by using associative law. P inverse P inverse, right, equal to D. So P inverse P equal to identity matrix. So we can write that P square D square. P square P inverse is equal to D square, right? So inductively, if we multiply P inverse k time, we can write P to the power k P inverse equal to D to the power k, right? So what is m to the power k? M to the power k equal to 0. So we can write that D to the power k is equal to 0. Now consider D as the diagonal matrix A1 0 0 dot dot করে 0 0 A2 0 dot dot 0 0 0 dot dot করে dot dot n, right? Now you can see what is D square, right? Now D square equal to D into D. If you multiply D with D, you will get A square A1 square 0 0 dot dot 0 0 A2 square 0 dot dot 0 dot dot 0 0 dot dot an square. You can see that when we are multiplying this row with this column, we will get A1 square. When we are multiplying this row with this column, we will get 0. When we are multiplying this row with this column, we will get 0. Similarly, this is the multiplication, right? Now, what is D to the power k? Now, D to the power k equal to A1 to the power k 0 0 dot dot 0 0 A2 to the power k 0 dot dot 0 dot dot 0 0 dot dot an to the power k, right? This is our D to the power k, right? And what is given to us? What we get? D to the power k is 0. So this is equating this with the 0 matrix. Okay. Sorry. This is the equating this with the 0 matrix, that is 0 0 dot dot 0 0 0 dot dot 0 0 0 dot dot 0. What we get from this, we can conclude that A1 to the power k, we can conclude that A1 to the power k equal to 0, equating this A2 to the power k equal to 0 dot dot an to the power k is equal to 0. Now it will imply A1 equal to 0, A2 equal to 0 dot dot an equal to 0, right? So the matrix D is A1 0 0 0 0 A2 dot dot 0 dot dot 0 0 dot dot AN, right? Now we get the values of A1 A2 AN, so we get D as a zero matrix, right? Zero matrix of order n cross n, right? We get D as a zero matrix. Now we already conclude that P inverse is equal to D. Now what we get? D equal to zero matrix, putting the value of D, P inverse equal to Z D. Now multiplying by P from right and by P inverse from left, we get M equal to zero matrix. This completes the proof. Okay. Another question came from linear algebra in 2019. The next question says that A and B are two n cross n real matrix such that sum of their ranks are strictly less than n. That is, A and B are two real n cross n matrix such that rank of A plus rank of B strictly less than n. Show that there exists a non-zero column vector x belongs to R to the power n such that Ax equal to Bx equal to 0. Right? So what is given to us? Let row of A is equal to rank of A is equal to R1 and row of B is equal to rank of B is equal to R2, right? Now what is given to us? It is given to us that R1 plus R2 strictly less than n, right? So without loss of generality, we can assume that R1 less greater than R2, and this is, and R1 less than n and R2 less than n, as their sum is less than n, as both of them are less than n, right? Now R1 greater than R2, right? Now okay, we have to show that Ax, there exists a non-zero column vector x belongs to Rn such that Ax equal to Bx is equal to 0, right? So if we can show that kernel of A intersection kernel of B is a superset of theta, I am saying that it suffices to show kernel, it suffices to show this. It will suffices to show kernel of A intersection kernel of B is a superset of theta, right? Now just observe that. So kernel of A, dimension of kernel of A is, by using rank nullity theorem, we can conclude that dimension of kernel of A equal to n minus rank of A. Now rank of A is R1, so it is n minus R1, and dimension of kernel of B is equal to n minus rank of B is equal to n minus R2, right? So we can say that dimension of kernel of A is equal to n minus R1 and dimension of kernel of B is equal to n minus R2. Now, so therefore kernel of A is a n minus R1 dimensional subspace of Rn, right? And kernel of B is equal to n minus R2 dimensional. Kernel of B is a n minus R2 dimensional subspace of Rn, right? Now consider, let alpha 1 alpha 2 dot dot alpha n minus R1 be a basis of kernel of A, and beta 1 beta 2 dot dot beta n minus R2 be a basis of curve B, right? Now let U equals to alpha 1 alpha 2 dot dot alpha n minus R1 comma beta 1 comma beta 2 dot dot beta n minus R2, right? Now what is the cardinality of U? The cardinality of U is equal to n minus R1 plus n minus R2. So it is equal to 2 times of n minus R1 plus R2. Now as R1 plus R2 is strictly less than n, so we can conclude that U contains more than n elements, right? Now U is a subset of Rn which contains more than n elements, right? So we can say that U is linearly dependent. So we can conclude that U is linearly dependent. So we can conclude that U is linearly dependent. Now consider the relation C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus dot dot C n minus R1 alpha n minus R1 plus D1 beta 1 plus D2 beta 2 plus dot dot D n minus R2 beta n minus R2 is equal to theta. Now as this is linearly, this said U is linearly dependent, so we can conclude that any one of this is non-zero. More precisely, I can conclude that at least one Ci and Dj is not equal to 0. That is, I am claiming that at least one Ci and Dj is not equal to 0. If all Ci's is equal to 0, so from 1 we can conclude that from 1 I can say that D1 beta 1 plus D2 beta 2 plus dot dot Dn minus R2 beta n minus R2 is equal to theta. Now as this said, as this is linear, as U is linearly independent, so from this I can conclude that at least one Di is not equal to 0. Now at least one is not, Di is not equal to 0 imply beta 1 beta 2 dot dot beta n minus R2 is linearly dependent, but this is a basis of curve B, so it must be linearly independent, so which is a contradiction. So therefore at least one Ci and Dj is not equal to 0. Now so therefore from 1 we can say that at least one Ci and Dj not equal to 0. So there exists a vector x which is belongs to span of alpha 1 alpha 2 dot dot alpha n minus R1 as well as intersection beta 1 span of beta 1 beta 2 dot dot beta n minus R2. So if x belongs to span of eta intersection this intersection this, so therefore we can conclude that x belongs to kernel of A and x belongs to kernel of B. So x belongs to curve of A intersection curve of B, right? So we can conclude that x belongs to curve of A intersection curve of B. Therefore Ax is equal to theta is equal to Bx. This completes the proof. Okay.